Ah, yes, the idyllic town of Two-Fort. So, you're a pioneering individual who's put a sentry on the bridge to harass the enemy team. Well done. However, eventually your sentry is going to go down, which is why I recommend that you put a teleporter at the other edge of the bridge right here, sideways so that it fits the roof of the bridge. Occasionally enemies will miss it because they will be more focused on this, and it's not very visible from the enemy side. And of course this only really works well on red team, because if it's blue team, it's far more visible. I would recommend it. It's a good thing to kind of get your stuff back up there, assuming that they don't see it, but it's probably one of the lesser used spots on this map that I've seen. If you're an adventurous fellow like me, you know that you like to put your sentry inside of the enemy team's base to prevent them from capping and to be a general nuisance. But did you know that you can actually fit your sentry just behind the desk without picking up the intelligence? You can do this to put the teleporter there just in case everything gets cleared out, and sometimes the enemy team will not see it because there's just barely any room to see it. Observe as I stand over here. Can't see a teleporter. Well, I mean, you can now because it's moving, so let's try that one more time. Observe a teleporter. Can you see it from this angle? Not really. Observe a teleporter. Can you see it from this angle? Just barely. The enemy team is not going to pay attention unless they know to check this area. And 9 times out of 10, they don't do it. Of course, last but not least is the underwater spot right next to the sewers, or in the outside lobby over there, which I will discuss in just a second. This spot right here works really well when it's not lit, because again, enemies are going to be focusing on this way, and most of the time teammates are going to be coming this way, but most people know to check this corner area simply out of habit, because Two-Fort has been here for such a long time. Now, when it comes to underwater and you're trying to be the absolute sneakiest, I would recommend either this side or this side for teleportation. Again, enemies are going to be coming out this way, so they won't naturally see it. Even if they do go underwater, their vision is going to be in this area. A pyro shark or another enemy who's always patrolling the waters might eventually find it, but this spot right here reduces the most chances. I would say not putting it in a corner because people eventually check corners and they like to put sentries there, so this is probably ideally your best spot. The soft slumbering land of Doublecross. And these really, really tall poles, I just mean, why? Why are these all the way up here? It doesn't make any sense. First things first, if you have a lot of metal on you, what you need to do is you need to place the dispenser at the very edge of the stairs. Then don't worry about building up the dispenser, it's useless. You're only using it to jump over to here. You cannot make this jump if you do not crouch while jumping. Observe, a jump with no crouch. No good. But a jump with a crouch, boop. Look at that! You're on the roof, you put a teleporter right up here, and then you use it for later shenanigans like putting up a sentry and destroying the entire enemy team. Now, my good fellow, were you aware that you could put a sentry on top of this little area right here? It's more impactful than putting a sentry right here on the ground because people can shoot it from up here on this area. I know from experience. Putting a sentry up here allows you maximum protection from here, and over here because they have to drop down in order to get it, which means that your team, if there's anybody available, can take care of them in this area. Now, for the purposes of ninjaneering, sorry sentry buddy, for the purposes of ninjaneering, I find the most success placing a teleporter right here. I know that a lot of people like to put a teleporter right here, but that's not a good idea. People know to check this, but people rarely check this area right here because the only time it's ever visible is if you're dropping down from that hallway or just randomly checking this area. Because people will know to check this, but they turn left, they see that there's nothing there, and then they turn left this way. Boom! Guess what they didn't see? This bad boy right here in the corner. It's a very good spot. I recommend using it if you're trying to ninjaneer behind the enemy team. Every enemy knows about this pit. It's a very bizarre design feature of Doublecross. Nobody really knows why it exists there. Now, you do know that it's very easy to jump down from in here and suddenly, well, you're kind of stuck. Now, you could put a teleporter down here, or you could try and put a teleporter down in the bushes, but guess where I oddly have the most success? Right here on top of this ledge. For whatever reason, people just don't seem to pay a lot of attention to it. I don't know why. I've gotten really lucky with it a few times. You can either try there or down there, or I guess sometimes in there. But putting it in this pit area, it works, but again, it only works once because number one, once they see that an enemy engineer is in this area, they're going to check for a teleport. So if you come in here and you manage to drop a level 3 and really harass the enemy team, that can work for you, but since their spawn is over there, again, you're gonna have to make a quick make or break. It's a good Ninjaneer spot, but it's a very aggressive Ninjaneer spot. Please keep that in mind. So, can you tell me where the teleporter is? Because I could tell you that you can't see it. It's physically impossible. A good Ninjaneer knows to put a teleporter right behind this bush, facing in this exact direction. The only people who are going to see it are people who are coming in this direction. So, let's say that I am on red team, which I am. So, I'm going to destroy my old teleporter. I'm going to move way over here. And I'm going to put my teleporter in this little corner right over here. Now, let's say that I'm a blue team member over here. Can I see the teleporter even while it's building up? No. I'm going to try that balcony. Can I see a teleporter from up here? No, sir. What if I lean all the way out on the edge? Oh, just barely, but it's so inconspicuous that it's hard to see. Getting a teleport in this spot is a great idea. But if it's glowing, obviously it's going to be a lot more visible. Use this for aggressive ninjaneering to quickly get back to the enemy team side, because occasionally they're going to control the bridge, and this will be a good spot to very quickly stay out of enemy sight, sneak under, and put your teleporter in a better spot. Don't put your teleporter in the water. It's so easy to clear. Get a soldier, shoot rockets down, boof, 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 they're dead. Everything's dead, your whole setup. Don't build in the water over here, please. The nature resplendent Landfall. Landfall is probably the most complicated capture the flag map that is currently in rotation, and that is the reason why I like it the most. With all the other maps, they're very stale and stagnant, but this map is open, and there's different ways to reach things, and it's not crowded, and it actually feels competitive other than just a tiny map stuck inside of a tiny little place. Which also means there are some really good spots. Now, as you know, as an engineer, if you manage to get yourself up here, you can actually build on this tiny ledge. And this includes Ninjaneering platforms. The only big deal is that it's very easily seen through the windows and it can be exploded from below or with Demo Man's grenades very, very easily. So you can use it, but if it's teleporting, people are going to find it very, very quickly. For Ninjaneer purposes, though, it's fantastic because very few people pay attention to that, especially in their home area. So if I'm on red, which I am, and I went to the blue side and then I put it up there, I could use that for some great Ninjaneering experiences. But if I use it too often, they'll eventually know that somebody's there and they'll flush it out quite quickly. Pioneering, taming the world, and taming teleporters. Putting a teleporter here or in the opposite house way over there on a very similar building is a great spot. If I'm on the enemy team, still can't see it on the enemy team. Barely see it right here, but I'm usually going to be focusing on this way over here. Only more observant players are going to immediately see it if it's tucked away in this corner, which allows you to make for some excellent maneuvers before you're eventually discovered. Don't keep it there too long. This is an aggressive Ninjaneer spot, but it can work if you manage to make something of it very, very quickly. Now then, can you see the teleporter? If you said slightly on top of these wooden pallets, you would be correct. Now, from the ground, it's not visible, but there is an issue going up the stairs, and it doesn't blend in all that well. But from personal experience, I have had success with Ninjaneering at this spot right here. Now, unfortunately, this spot is a little one-sided based on how the map is designed. Now, if you are on blue team and you're coming out, this really won't work for you. But if you're on red team, as I am right now, it can work a lot more in your favor. Putting a teleporter in this tiny little alcove right here works a lot better because of the way that the light protrudes on this map. It comes in from this direction, and it makes this area very shadowy. And of course, blue team, unfortunately, does not have that same design. It is slightly different on this side, and the lighting makes it a lot more visible. I do think that is unfortunate that that spot is a little bit, well, one-sided team-wise, but if you are on the red team, this won't get you very far, but it will get you to midfield if you're using the Eureka effect very, very quickly. Ah, the industrial nature of Turbine. Yeah. I know a lot of people like to put teleporters on different spots. By these barrels, behind there, sometimes in the hallway. But for the purposes of Ninjaneering, Turbine is such a small and compact map that there really isn't any good spots, except for one that I have the most success with when I play on this map. When I'm trying to put a sentry on top of these crates, I always rely on one place, and it's wide out in the open, and it's right in front of this door. Just put a teleporter right here, and magic happens. Snipers don't pay attention to it, enemy team never pays attention to it. I have gotten sentries onto that box or onto this balcony here more times than I can count because the enemy team just did not pay attention to a sentry that is right here. Sentry teleporter that is right there. I don't know why, but it's magical and it works, and I recommend that you use it if you ever get a chance. But that is literally it. Turbine is so small and secluded that it doesn't work. Now, I know people are gonna say, but Cosmo, you can put a teleporter down here at the edge of the hallway at the enemy team, but that leaves you so vulnerable. You're right next to their spawn. It's a very easy thing to clean out because all you need is a few rockets and just boom, people are done. And just one Uber could take it out completely because it sticks you in a hallway. And then, what are you going to do when you have a setup in here? Because if you drop down, guess what they're usually gonna have? A level 3 sentry, or 2, or 3, or 4 in this room, or another one in the hallway right there. Like, it's not gonna work out in your favor. You could put it up there as a defensive measure, but Demomen can just shoot pills, and Sullies can shoot rockets. Don't put a teleporter in there. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. Alright, well that just about takes care of that. There are only 4 capture the flag maps and not very many spots, but I hope you get some use out of them. Thank you all so much for watching, and please, stay tuned because more will be coming your way. Bye-bye.